Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim.
Now, remember, we do not believe that what Ali compiled was a different Qur'an. What you have now as the Qur'an is the complete Qur'an. There is no doubt about it. Because even if you look at the name of the surahs, the names were given by Rasulullah during his time. So Surah Baqarah was a surah existing in the days of Rasulullah. Surah Al Imran was there. Yes, maybe the sequence of the surahs might not have been the same, but whatever is there in the two covers of the Quran now is the Quran that we believe in him. Only the difference between the Muslims would be on the interpretation of the ayat of Quran. But what Ali had done, based on the will of Rasulullah, and Ali was one of the closest one to Rasul in writing down the ayat of Quran whenever they were being revealed. So he basically was compiling this from very before. And this is where, this was compiled by the order of the Prophet in chronological order. Means, Iqra bismi rabbika alladhi would be the first ayat, ending with the last surahs, which is, Surah Tawbah or Surah Ma'idah. And so these were the last surahs to be revealed. So that was the order in which Amir al-Mu'mineen compiled the Quran. And for them, some people would say, 2 days he did it. You're not talking about a research scholar sitting and looking for sources, compiling everything. This is somebody who was with the Quran from day one. He was there as the tanzil of Quran was Rasul, and the ta'wil of the Quran was Ali. What he did was he started writing some marginal notes regarding some ayat. He would say, okay, this ayat was revealed in Mecca, this ayat was revealed in Medina, this ayat was revealed in this year, this ayat was revealed about this so-and-so person. So if the ayat is in praising, that's okay. But he would even mention the incidents where people were rebuked by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in the Quran. And so these marginal notes, which were very crucial to understand the Quran, became a problem. And this is where we see that, that when Amir al-Mu'mineen wanted to present that, they didn't like that part of the compilation. Because what he did was he would write down where the ayat came down, when did it come down, what was the occasion, and about whom this ayat or the verses or the section talks about. And this is actually, the Prophet's, his own statement, and I don't want to go into detail in this, but there are so many referenced statements from Rasulullah in the books of Ahl Sunnah wal Jama'ah, which talk about Ali being the source of explaining the Quran. One day the Prophet came from his house outside. The companions are all gathered, waiting for him to come. They saw that he was carrying his sandals. And one of the sandals, the strap was broken. So they saw that he's, coming with the sandals in the hand, and when he got close, he looked at Ali and said, Ali, can you repair this for me? So Ali started fixing it there. And then he says to the gathering, he says, إِنَّ مِنْكُمْ مَنْ يُقَاتِلُ عَلَى تَعْوِيلِ الْقُرْآنِ كَمَا قَاتَلْتُ عَلَى تَنْزِيلِهِ. Among you there is a person who is going to fight for the true interpretation of the Quran, ta'wil, the way I fought for the revelation of the Quran. During my time, people didn't accept it as a revelation. There is somebody among you who will be fighting for the true interpretation of the Quran. So according to that narration, Abu Bakr stood up and he said, Ana huwa ya Rasulullah? Is that me? It's good, at least he asked the question. And the Rasul said, La. Then Umar ibn Khattab stood up. Is that me? This is where Rasulullah says, no. Bal huwa khasifun na'al, the one who is repairing the sandals. referring to Ali bin Abi Talib alayhi salatu wasalam. Many scholars who came later on regretted this, that why didn't the Sahaba accept it? One of the very early scholars among Ahlul Sunnah wal Jama'ah by the name of Muhammad bin Sirin, he says, فَبَلَغَنِي أَنَّهُ كَتَبَ عَلِيٌّ تَنزِيلُ عَلَى تَنزِيلِهِ. I have been told that Ali wrote the Qur'an, or scribed the Qur'an based on the sequence of revelation. وَلَوْ أُصِيبَ ذَلِكَ الْكِتَابِ لَوُجِدَ فِيهِ عِلْمٌ كَثِيرٌ. If we could have, get our hands on it, we would have gained great knowledge. Another Sunni scholar who is a historian of Muslim theology, Muhammad bin Abdul Karim al-Shahristani, he says, كَيْفَ لَمْ يَطْلُبُوا جَمْعُ عَلِي بِنْ أَبِي طَالِبٍ. He was surprised. He says, why didn't they go after this compilation done by Ali bin Abi Talib of the Qur'an? أَوَمَا كَانَ أَكْتَبُ مِنْ زَيْدٍ بِنْ ثَابِتٍ. Was he not better in writing the Qur'an than Zayd bin Thabit, one of the compilers of the Qur'an during the days of the Khilafat? أَوَمَا كَانَ أَعْرَبُ مِنْ سَعِيد بِنْ الْعَاصِ. Was he not better in Arabic language than Sa'id bin al-As? أَوَمَا كَانَ أَقْرَبُ إِلَى رَسُولِ اللَّهِ مِنَ الْجَمَاعَةِ. Was he not closest to Rasulullah compared to the entire community? So he's surprised that, why people did not accept that compilation done by Ali bin Abi Talib.
اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد.